Good morning and welcome to Morning Coach Today. I am so glad you're with us. Hey, it's JB, super pumped you're here. It is the 9th of January. It is a Monday, ready to take it on, episode 4840, and we're going to get after it today. We got a big week planned. I actually got to go to Cabo this week for my first mastermind of the year. Excited about that. I'll be down there Thursday through Sunday, and then we'll be back here rocking and rolling, getting ready for us to start launching our retreats and our masterminds starting in March. I love to go down there because I get around some amazing people and learn so much, and I like to bring that information back too, and we all work together. It's exciting. It's so much fun to meet really cool people. And also, as many people as I can help. It's just cool to mastermind and get with a group of people. That's why I love retreats and masterminds. There's nothing like it. You can kind of recharge and get going. So heading down to Cabo this week, excited about that. As far as what we're going to be doing this week, it's going to be a good one. We're going to talk about the Sacred Six Check today. What is that? What's going on? We got a lot of new people welcome on board. We're going to be going over why that's important and the focus commitment that you have. We are in a do month, and it's really important to understand that in our Plan, Do, Check, Act, it is a do month. If you just joined us, that's okay. You can still put your plan together. Basically, we do an engineering cycle called Plan, Do, Check, and Act here. And so right now, most people that were with me in December have their plan. They're working on things, and that's where we're going to go over focus commitment. But do means we're working on things, okay? We do a quick check act next month, but right now, let's keep working on that plan. And if you're new, get that plan together, okay? Tomorrow, we start the magic of thinking big, doing chapters 1 through 3. Also recommending Win the Day by John Cunningham in our book study. Every Tuesday, we do our book study, and we're rocking the old school magic of thinking big. Changed my life, and just felt like we wanted to go back to that to get the year started right because we are going to be thinking big. Wednesday, dealing with projects and staying on the important ones, going to kind of be a continuation of today. We're going to continue this idea of understanding priorities and why people start sliding. Right now is the time when people start, having a little bit of scope creep and leaving their New Year's resolutions in their plan, and we want to stay on task. Thursday's an Ask JB. I answer your questions. I love that day. We're going to have fun with that. Friday, we're talking understanding prosperity mindset and staying committed to prosperity. One of the things we're doing this year is focusing on some bigger financial goals, at least me personally. And I think most people don't mind generating a little more revenue and freedom. We're going to be spending Fridays a lot on that. So we're really going to get into prosperity and abundance this year on lucky number 13 Friday. Saturday, we're going to talk about setting priorities, systems, ideas. Obviously, I'll be in Cabo. I'm going to pre-record those so that we have those in the can ready for you. And then Sunday is having a spiritual commitment for those of you that are rocking the spiritual side of things with us. A lot of really cool things going on. So today, we're going to get into this idea of Sacred Six and focus and commitment. And the first thing we got to kind of do is go over the Sacred Six again. I know I haven't told this story in a while. I know you've probably read my book, but really where this came from was an old tape. It was an old Earl Nightingale actually record called Lead the Field. And it was actually a tape that I had back in the early 90s, late 80s. And I was laying on the sofa listening to Earl Nightingale, as I would listen to tapes all those years ago. And he told this story of Ivy Lee and this Lead the Field. And Ivy Lee went to Carnegie, who was running the steel mills. Not Carnegie, who Andrew, but the other Carnegie that was running the steel mills in Indiana, which is weird, where I'm at. And now, before I go to Cabo. But he went to the president of the steel mills and said, "Look, I've got a tool that can really help you." And Carnegie said, "No, I need more doing, less knowing." And I still love that. I think we all need more doing and less knowing from our people, right? And he goes, "No, this is about doing." And he goes, "Okay, tell me what you got. Tell me what you got." And he goes, "Okay, well, here's the deal. I'm going to tell you this, and then you pay me what you think it's worth, right?" And so the story goes that Ivy Lee, and this is Earl Nightingale, probably the first kind of motivational album, right? It was actually literally an album. I'm listening going, man, this is kind of esoteric knowledge. Why aren't other people listening to this? And so Ivy Lee goes, "Okay, here's the deal. What I want you to do is write down the things you need to do, okay? Put them in order today. And then I want you to prioritize those things 1 through 6, okay? So however many you got 6 things there, 7 things. I want you to prioritize those things. Okay, so then once you start, what you're going to do is you're going to start on number 1 and not move to number 2 until number 1 is done. Very simple process. So Carnegie says, okay, great. Thanks for that. We'll put it in motion. So a couple months later, Ivy Lee comes back and says, well, what did you do? He said, well, God, it was profound. It was amazing. It literally changed, our business. All of our managers are using it now, a simple system that literally changed our business and our life. And he ended up giving him $10,000, which is like $120,000 in today's money for that little idea as a consultant there. And Ivy Lee took it home and was very happy with it. And later on, as Nightingale was telling us, that one of the reasons that the steel industry took over back in the early 1900s was because of this process that they put in place. And I'm hearing this going, why isn't anybody talking about this? Like, this is an easy, simple process that anybody can do. And I started applying it in my life all those years ago and decided to write the book. And not only write the book, but turn it into an entire life plan to understand the prioritization of the projects that we're working on and get ourselves organized so that we are getting things done, right? And this is a big part of getting things done now, and it's a big part of what we do and what we teach is understanding why priorities are important, understanding getting ourselves focused in on what we need to do. So again, if you're new with me, great. If you've been with me, we've got our mission for the year. We've got our goals that we're going after, and you can have unlimited amount of goals that you want, but what you can't have an unlimited amount of is the projects that are going to help you reach your goals. And this is a breakdown. So if you're learning guitar and learning Spanish and you got work commitments and you have, family issues and you got to exercise and you got this big list of things, you got to pick a few things. And what we focused on was 6. So the critical thing is, what are the projects are you working on today? We're in the 9th of January. Have you already started bringing new projects in? Has your boss already started bringing new projects in? You as the boss, have you brought new projects in? That's why I talk about the expectations document between you and your staff, why it's so critical. Because if you don't have an expectations document between the two of you, right, then you're going to get what we call scope creep. And scope creep is where you're starting bringing more projects in. And we do it personally. It's a 9th. I'm already starting to add stuff to my list. And I got to go, okay, wait a minute. And the idea is that we cannot add to the list unless it's something that's just so overwhelmingly beneficial, or we finish one of the things on the list. And it really gets you thinking about the prioritization of things that are going on. And priorities are so critical. There's a book out about doing one thing, literally getting rid of everything and focusing on one thing. Okay, I don't think any of us can really do that in the world that we live in today. But the idea is to make life simpler by focusing on less things and getting good at those. It's like technology. If you keep switching systems, you're never going to get good at tech. This year, as I told you, I decided to grab the Remarkable, which I have, and start using that as my planning device. And I have the planner in there. Now, I'm using every once in a while my big board. But what I've got here is my planner. And when I look down, I have my sacred 6 to do. Now, again, sometimes I'll write this on the board in the morning. I got Aquila and I got a whiteboard, and I like to write it down. But the whole idea is that sacred 6 to do are the daily tasks that are going to lead you to complete the projects that you have going on. Does that make sense? So basically, if you think about the big picture, we've talked about this. You have your mission. That's what we're going to do this year. Okay, we have the goals that are going to lead us to our mission. Then we have the projects. The projects are the key thing. They're the things that are going to get us to our goals. That's what you're working on. Project management, projects, that's the key. Okay, then outside that projects, you're going to have to-dos that you're going to do every day that are concurrent to the projects that you're working on. I'm writing a book. Okay, well, you need to work on that every day. You should be touching that project every day until it's done. Then you can erase that project and you can bring something else in. Okay, so it's critical. So when you look at your sacred 6 to do, you've got your day's focus, which is organizational, or what I'm working on my management, or what are you going to work on it today? Remember, the idea is to have 1% continuous improvement. That's why we're here. 1% continuous improvement. We're just working every day, and that's why I've been doing this for 4,840 episodes, right? And that has helped me become better. I always say it's my biggest blessing and my biggest curse. I have to show up and do this, and then it's a blessing because I have to learn. I have to get better. Not all of these are great. I'm going to tell you, when you do 4,840, I try to be great. I try to bring you energy every day, but not every one of them's great, right? So I got to pick myself up and say, okay, what are we learning today? And every day I continue to grow. Every day I get better. And that's the thing. When I go down to these masterminds and I'm going to spend a few days in Cabo, I'm meeting amazing people that I'm listening and just sponging things up. And by the way, if you're new here, That's a very important point, even if you've been with me for a long time. If this is all overwhelming to you, and it can be, you're doing your belt system, you're trying to read the book study, you're trying to, get the planner going. I get it. There's a lot here, and we do this for the entire year. That's why there's a lot here, right? So don't get overwhelmed. Just sponge it all up. The idea is to be a sponge. And like when I go down to Cabo, I'm going to be a sponge. If you come to one of the retreats, when you come, just be a sponge. And the people that have continuously came and been with me for years, you'll see they get it. They're applying things in their life that most other people don't get because they've been at it a while. This is like learning a new language. I think Dr. Paul Kilgore said it the best, who's obviously a research scientist, PhD, one of the most amazing healthcare professionals in the world and a professor. He's like, wow, this is like another PhD. Learning a different way of life, learning a different way of living, learning planning is learning a different language. It's an education. So you can't rush it. There's no easy fix. It's who you are becoming that's what's critical. So the tools that we're giving you are tools to help you become more. They're tools to help you grow. They're tools to help you prioritize, right? To get to a place where you are feeling better and the energy you have is working better for you. And so that's why we build all this around this structured coach cast that I'm with you every single day because it's so important. But it's just as important that we are here, right? We are here to work on our prioritization, okay? We are here to work on prioritization. So I will give you business ideas and tips. A lot of the retreats we do are on wonderful things that you can do that literally can bring more freedom, bring you lifestyle, can help you organize your team, help you motivate your team, help people get more things done. All of that is part of what we do. In fact, it's what I love to do. It's one of the most important things. The intelligent life design structure is one of my favorite core things. But with that being said, without a game plan to execute, then you're going to be all over the place, especially for me, giving you, information 365 days a year. I come back from Cabo, I'm all excited. I'm like, man, look at this business model. Look at this business model. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that. I'm going to add this, and I'm excited. That's what I do. I bring you energy. And then all of a sudden you're getting a little confused and you're like, well, what do I do? Where do I start? And we've got to be careful with that. And that is why the Sacred Six and prioritization is so important, because we all get excited. We all get excited about cool things that we can do. And then all of a sudden we've got 18 things going on. And for those of us with families and with children and, work commitments and entrepreneurial commitments, it gets really, really challenging to bring all this in and tighten it up, especially some of us that chase those squirrels, right? We always heard, chase the squirrel, chase the squirrel. Those that chase two rabbits catch none, right? That old Chinese cone. So let's focus in today. And then again, it's the 9th of January. And what I'm asking you is, are you having scope creep? Are you already adding stuff to your list? Have you blown the expectations with yourself and others? We need to slow down, especially from a management, area or management position. We got to make sure we're on that expectations list and we are not creating scope creep. Some of our best people around us, we end up burning out. Why do we burn them out? Because they start doing the things we want them to do and they keep taking on more projects. Maybe that's you, right? You felt that before. And so we want to be careful with that, not only for ourselves personally, but for those that we manage, even our children and our families. Get your priorities in order. Understand that we can have as many goals as we want. I know, Katie bar the door. You can do whatever you want, right? Put 1 million goals down. That's your bucket list. But you can't be working on 80 projects. If you're working on 80 projects, nothing gets done. You're chasing two rabbits. Let's focus on getting a few projects. Let's look at our Sacred Six. Let's look at our planner. And look at what you've got on that list. How many things do you got on that list? And are there things that you can delegate? Are there things that you can give to other people that you got to manage? But that list has to get shorter. It has to be less than 6 or 7 things, and it needs to be focused in on maximum impact. Now, one thing I will tell you, some people say, well, JB, about those daily things, what about things that take me 3-4 hours? Well, then you need to break those down a little bit. Okay, because really you should have like 6-7 things on there and they should be broken down. If you got to go pick up milk and maybe you got to exercise, those things shouldn't be on there unless they're one of your major priorities this year. Like if health and exercise is one of your main key things, then you can put it on there. But if it's not, it should be already part of your lifestyle. Picking up milk should just be a miscellaneous thing you should do. It should not be a part of the things that need to be done. That's why I call them sacred. Sacred connotes very important. Sacred means that these are really, really critical to us. So make sure you've got that. If you are having any questions, we still have the Discord going. We're working on some new tools for you, but right now Discord's where we're at. Just go ahead and reach out and we can help you. There's great people there. There's people answering questions. If you haven't been on a Discord server, I know it's a little confusing, but it is a great place to get questions answered, and you can check in there once in a while, okay? So it's a good place to get answers if you need them. All right, well, let's get out there and have a fantastic week. It's going to be a great one. We're getting started. Tomorrow we're on our book study, and we're going to keep rocking and rolling it right here at morningcoach.com. You know I love you. Let's stay organized. Let's stay on top of things. Don't let the scope creep take over this week. Okay, get back to it. Have a fantastic week. All right, you made it to the end. That is fantastic. You obviously hear me talking about what we're doing this week. In order to get the rest of the week, you got to go over to morningcoach.com. Click that join now. We have 2 membership levels. One is Ignite, where you're going to get the system. You're going to get your belt system, daily coaching. It's an amazing system to work. The other one is Freedom, and that is for those of you that are looking for residual passive income, maybe are business owners, want some business knowledge. We put some videos up and stuff, and we've got some extra courses as far as ILD in there. You'll see when you go over there. But go over there, click the Join Now button. It's a perfect time to get going. Love to have you be a part of our community over at morningcoach.com. Click that Join Now button, and we'll see you over there.